Hey guys, welcome back to Bits of an Artist's Life. This is Sandy, and this week we are going to be talking about facial proportions. I feel like I don't know what to name this, but basically like getting the placement of the facial features in the right spot. And it is easy, guys. Listen, I am not giving detailed instructions. I want to give you like quick placement of things that you can just eyeball with a little bit of practice and be able to just blop it in really fast for either like loose figures or small facial features, or even, I mean, these are the measurements I go by when I'm doing my figures. And it was really good, like a reminder for me and sharpening of my own skills, because some of my features have been like drifting out of place. But if you just get things in the vicinity, it will look like a person. And I think these tools and these things today that I share with you will be very helpful. I would love to hear from you if you feel like this was helpful. So let's just jump into it and find out where the things on the face go. Okay guys, as we get started here, we're going to start off by just drawing an egg shape. So just an oval for the head. And for each element on the face, I'm going to be drawing a new egg. And I encourage you to do that when you're practicing, because it does get a little jumbly, at least for the first time or two. Go through and do it just like I'm doing. Each new element on the face, draw a new egg. Let's get started. We're first, like I said, going to just draw a nice oval egg. Listen, we're not going to get out our rulers. We're just going to blop things in. You do not have to be crazy accurate, okay? I mean, that's like probably the weirdest egg you've ever seen, but there it is. So we're going to find the top of our head, bottom of the chin, and we're going to find the place right in between those. Again, don't get the ruler out. Just find what looks like the middle. And that's going to be our eyes. Now you may think, well, that's way too far down. I'm going to prove this to you with real photos of real people where their eyes are. So there are the eyes. Let's do another egg. I want to show you one more thing with our eyes. This space in between the eyes and the spaces on the side of the head, these are all 1 eye width. So that will let you know you're making your head wide enough, that you're not making your eyes too big. If your person ends up looking like an alien, then you've probably got the eyes too big. But this, and again, it's not accurate, okay? I mean, like, you don't have to like measure. It is accurate. It's just you don't have to get down to like centimeters, right? It's just the approximately. On to the next egg. Top of the head, bottom of the chin, find our eyes. And you can see also how loose I'm blopping them in each time. Let's find our eyebrows. Those are just a little above the eyes. Okay, we're gonna blop those in. Now let's mark out here. This is our brow. Let's do another egg. Oh boy, that egg got really weird. That's okay. Top of the head, bottom of the chin. Let's blop in our eyes. Our brows. So here's our brow line. Here's the bottom of the chin. Now we're going to find the halfway mark of that. This is going to be the bottom of our nose. Another egg. Top of the head, bottom of the chin. Little mark here for our eyes. Our eyebrows. The bottom of our nose. Now this and this. So this is the nose, this is the chin. The halfway mark here is going to be our mouth shelf. Now the reason I say mouth shelf, you can make a little mark there. That's where the mouth sits. It sits on top of that. Let me mark over here too, that the things you're finding here are the brow and the chin to find the nose. Let's do another one. I want to show you a couple more things. Top of the head, bottom of the chin. Here's our eyes, brow, bottom of the nose. You know, you can do it like this too if you want. Also, the nose reaches up to the brow. You look at your own face or even just feel it. Feel how high that goes up into that. Sometimes people want to make this short, like a little stubby nose. Okay, make sure it comes up into the brow area. Here's our mouth shelf. Now the ears are going to come in between the brow and the nose. This will be the ear. Approximately. Sometimes, you know, somebody may have ginormo ears or little baby ears, but that's the approximate area. Let me do one more right here because I want to show you a couple more little things. When we're thinking about the neck, female's neck is going to be thinner and a little longer, and a man's neck is going to be a little wider. And then you also, when you're thinking about the shoulders, you'll want to bring them out probably a little further than what you think. If your head is looking really big, it's because you've made the shoulders too shallow. And I'm going to show you a couple examples here of ones that I did that actually needed to expand the shoulders out further. These are the two photos right here that I was telling you about, that the shoulders are a little off. This first one right here, this isn't too bad. But this one right here, can you see how her head looks too big? It kind of looks caricature, is that how you say that? Where the head is too big. And all I need to do though is extend her shoulders. They're just way too shallow. That's all I need to do, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna extend those shoulders out and that will fix that. Now let's make like a little person head right here and just show you how you can make just a nice little head. Actually made her mouth a little, Now when you think about the hair, you need to notice if it's like coming above, if it's kind of puffy. So this is the top of the scalp, okay? Not the top of the hair. You know, somebody's hair may be way up here. So think about that when you're adding hair. Look, just like that, I have a really cute, simple little figure. If you're looking at a real person, kind of just notice their head shape, right? A man may have more of a square head. Somebody may have more of a round. So just take notice of that and then use these proportions to blob them in according to that. This is not something that you need to be intimidated by. I gave this little mini lesson to Grady. I just went over it really, really quick. And then I had him do it and he was able to do it like really good. It was kind of cracking me up. I'll show you here what he did. But he was adding like, he wanted to add like a beard, but it looked more like acne. And then he did like weird hair stuff. And then he got really creative and decided to add ear hair, like hair on his ears, I guess because he's getting old and he has that. And some little chest hair. Artist license, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, I was cracking up. But he seemed like he was having a lot of fun with it. And he totally made simple little heads. All right, guys, I've got a picture of myself here and I have a piece of glass on top. I'm gonna just show you these measurements that we've been doing. So we're gonna find the bottom of the chin, hoping this marker shows up, and the top of the head. And we're gonna find the middle mark, which is about right there, it looks like. Look at that. There are the eyes. All right, let's find our brow line right there. Our chin line, middle of that. Look at that. There's the nose. Now we're going to find the middle mark of that. And there's the lip shelf. Now, of course, I'm smiling, but you can see how that would just sit right on top of that. You can't see my ears, but you get the gist there. Okay, I'm gonna clean this off and then do one of Grady. I'm just using alcohol. You can do this, yeah, on glass and with a Sharpie and just wipe it off. Here we have the top of his head. He's been skiing and that's why he's got like ice on his face, but look how handsome he is. All right, top of the head, I'm getting distracted here. Bottom of the chin. And let's look at the halfway mark and there we have the eyes. Now let's find the brow. He's just got a unibrow, so that's easy to find. So there's the brow. Now we're gonna go halfway. Oops, I went a little low there. It's probably, let's do this right. There's our halfway mark, and oop, I didn't draw a straight line, but there you go. You can see it. There's his nose. Now let's find the halfway mark of that, and there's his lip shelf right there. We can see it even with the beard. All right, it's proven. Do you believe me now? Let's do some drawing and painting and see how this works in that kind of thing. Okay, the first thing I want to use are just these really inexpensive oil pastels. They're called oil pastels, but they're a little more waxy. They're not like real smooth, but I do like them. They're just very inexpensive. But this is what I'm going to use first to blop in a quick little face for you. Okay, I'm gonna take just this kind of yellow ochre kind of color, and we're gonna just start with our egg shape. What you can do when you're first learning, you can either just kind of make marks on your page. I mean, it's really not that big of a deal to do that. And then you can either color over that or you can use a pencil. But let's just kind of estimate. So we're gonna just estimate her eyes to be somewhere like this. I'm gonna get her eyebrows in, just loose and quick. Let's give her some. So now we have that. Let's find the bottom of her nose. Sometimes I like to give noses a fun color. Then we want to find the mouth shelf. I also like to make the ears a little warm sometimes too. Let's do that. And maybe give her some reddish looking hair here. A lot of times the faster and looser you go with this kind of stuff, the better, I think. I'm going to use the same green that I used up in her eyes. Give her a little shirt. Ooh, and let's give her some, I really do like to put cheeks in. Let's give her some cheeks. Let's do another one. I feel like I was a little tight with that one. I got out some of my inks and just picked some random different colors that I'm going to use. I think I'm actually first going to just sketch in a blue, which you may think feels really weird. And it may turn out weird, but we're gonna just see. And I'm gonna apply these same techniques and we'll see what happens. So there's my egg. I think that's all I want to do in the blue. All right, I'm gonna switch to some other colors here. Oh, let's just do it. Okay, I'm gonna just stay with that. I'm gonna do the whole thing in the blue. All right, so let's get her eyes. Again, I want you to notice too, I'm holding the brush up here. I want things to stay loose. You just really can't go wrong with a little looseness. I'm gonna take a pencil for those of you that like are feeling kind of nervous about this. We can do this. We've got the eyes. Got my brow here. Here's my nose. So that's gonna be my nose line. Then halfway in between that, it's gonna be my mouth shelf. Got my ears. And then let's just kind of give her, I'm gonna do just a similar little hairstyle. All right. Maybe we'll give her long hair. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry and then I'm gonna go in with some color. I think while we're waiting for this to dry, because the next one that I wanna do is in gouache, which you can do the same thing that we're gonna do. You can do it in watercolor, but we're gonna need to do a step and let that dry. So we're gonna do the first step of that while we're waiting for that to dry. I'm gonna be taking a big brush. It's pretty big. I think I'll do this lady down here. So what I'm gonna first do is just take some muck that I have on my palette here. Just some nice dirty whatever, and make it pretty thin, and I'm gonna just draw with this. I typically, when I'm gonna do something like this, want to go on and bring my neck down into that. I mean, heck, you could go on and blop in your ears, even though I usually like those to be a little redder. While this is drying, while that's drying, you want a slightly dryish brush. You don't want it super, super wet, but while that is drying, you could go in, if you were filling up for it, with a tiny bit darker color and go ahead and blop in where your features are. And it'll kind of be like shade a little bit. Maybe I want to create some shade right here where the neck. Oops, actually I went into the face a little more than what I would normally want. So I cleaned my brush and I'm kind of drying it. Yeah, that'll be fine. Could even go on and drop in some cheek color in my lips. You can use thicker paint while it's wet if it's nice and thick. You can see how I just kind of like eyeball things at this point. Just kind of assessing to see how dry it is. That was bleeding a little more than I wanted. I think our head's dry enough. I'm gonna put some hair in and I'm just gonna mix like something. It really doesn't matter. I may just kind of keep with the same hairstyle too while we're at it. See, I'm kind of air drawing to figure out where her shoulders should be. I'm getting a little tight because I'm thinking about you guys. And as this dries, I could go back in and define like her eyes a little more and things like that. But I think for today's lesson, we're just gonna let that be. But you can just always go back in and either define or soften. Okay, I'll probably come back to that some as it dries, or maybe I'll just do it now. Let's just see. Now see, I'm wanting to get all detailed here. I mean, what I do, I just kind of just play and we'll keep kind of messing and playing, and that's just the gist. I put things in and take things out. I mean, that's just how I work. And people say you can't fix mistakes with watercolor, but you can. I'm gonna just leave her, even though she could have things worked on, but for right now, that's just what we're gonna do. And this is still drying up here, but because I'm impatient, we're gonna just take a paper towel and do this. We're gonna just dry her up. And then it will be still kind of wet, but that'll be okay. Okay, I just squeezed out a few different colors that I just picked. I wasn't even really thinking about facial features. I've got a brown, I've got a little bit of white ink, red, yellow, and green, and we'll just see what we do with that. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but we'll just see. So let's get her nose. And this is gonna be like water, like what we just did, because it's gonna be really wet. Let's just plop that in. This is already feeling like I'm gonna make a hot mess. I wasn't really thinking things through, which is how I work a lot of times. Wow, 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 big brows going on there. We may be chucking this one. See, I'm not letting things dry. I don't like her face like that either. You know what I'm gonna just try doing? Let's wipe this off. Let's see what happens. Okay, well that didn't go very well, did it? All right, well, Let's just see if we put some white, what happens. Now see, I'm okay with losing these features because I can find them again. Can we save this? We do not know. I'm just grabbing like colors from everywhere, guys. With stuff like this, you really should let it dry in between, but I'm just not because the camera's going. I think I'm gonna let that be. I'm gonna let that dry. We'll see what happens with that. Let's do another quick small one with markers. I'm gonna just use this Faber-Castell Pitt pen, and this is called Green Gold. I'm gonna just use that to get started. So we'll have our egg shape. Let's find the middle. There's my eyes. I'm gonna just blop them in like this. And then as that's drying, I'll go back in and kind of define those. All right, let's give her some eyebrows. Brow, bottom of the chin. So right here is going to be the bottom of my nose. Then the bottom of my nose to the bottom of the chin. The middle of that is going to be my lip shelf. So I'm going to blop these lips in. Let's give her some ears. So brows to the bottom of the nose. We're going to give her a thinnish neck. Let's give her some fun kind of reddish hair. I'll try to do a little bit different hairstyle this time. I'm not looking at anything, so I'm just kind of, making this up as I go. But the whole point, I really do want you to see what that feels like and looks like, to just blop something in, go quickly once you know your proportions. Give her some eyes. You could always go back in and define the eyes a little more. We'll often make the top and the bottom of the lips a little bit different color. She's looking a little zombie-ish in the eyes. I'm not real sure why. Let's make one eye. I also like to make one eye a little different than the other. Let's give her some cheek color. You can just kind of keep carving away and playing, but I'm happy with that so far. Yeah. There we go, guys. Let's do another little watercolor gouache. I've got both watercolor and gouache here. I went ahead and blocked in this face and laid in some of the shadow, but it's dry now. And I'm gonna go over this and let's see what we get. Let's just play. If you've followed me for a while, you know I don't really go with natural, normal colors exactly. I'm kind of just going back and forth between my gouache and my watercolor. It would help if I would look at something right now. Like look at one of my other paintings instead of I'm literally just making this up. I don't really have a plan. This is how I usually work. kind of want her to have short hair. I don't know why, but let's sop this up. See if we can give her short hair. Kind of thinking this may work with her short hair if we just keep building it up like this. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry for a minute and see what happens with the paint. You kind of have to do that with the watercolor. And then once it's dry, I can go back into it a little more if I feel like it needs it. Okay, so this is almost dry. I'm pretty happy with it. I do want to soften this line right here a little. So I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I really like how it turned out. Nice and loose and simple. All right, let's do another one. I've got this purple piece of paper. I often like to draw my outline in, or my drawing in kind of a fun color because I do like that to peep through. I'm thinking about either this orange or a pink. I think I'm gonna go with this pink and see what that does. I'm gonna also just use a reference. I've got two paintings up in my room here hanging, and I'm just going to use those as my reference. I think you'll find it'll be pretty interesting to see how different. So I'm starting off with a wax pastel. I'll probably move to my oil pastels because these will only layer so much. All right, so let's just get roughly this head in here like this. All right, so here we have the top of the head. My eyes are going to be here. Brows, here's the brow. Bottom of the nose, lip shelf. This looks white. I'm gonna move to my orange because I think it's gonna be a little bolder on this purple. You can see how I just kind of bopped in my things with my measurements. You know, I just go halfway. Here's my, and I don't, you know, get crazy with it. I forgot to give her a nose. I'm going to go more with a feminine kind of nose like that for this. So I'm going to kind of get the things in, and then I'm going to go in with some kind of, sorry guys, I can tell I'm shaking the table. I'm trying to do that, but I press really hard with my pastels. I'm not really loving the shape of her face, but we're just going to keep going. I'm going to go on and move to my oils. hot oil pastels. It's interesting because colors that you think that you know, they do look so different on when you use a different color background. Now I'm just going to play around and blop some colors on until I like something. I really just kind of don't want to think about it. I just want to play, and that's probably how it's going to come out looking the best anyways. I do want to keep in mind the background because since it's purple, you know, yellows and oranges, there's going to be things like that, colors like that look best. I'm just not really, ooh, I definitely did not like that. This poor camera, it's shaking so much. Sorry guys. Ooh, and see, that's what's nice too, then when you go over other colors and you've put that orange. Ooh, where is that orange? I need to get that back in there. I really like that. Wow. Definitely want to make sure that's showing up still some. I don't want to wait till the last minute to like get face color. So I'm going to go on and try to blop some of that in. Changing up here and there. One of the other things I'm always thinking about is trying to not use too many colors. I want to use the colors around that I'm using in other places. I really just like to kind of get stuff on here and then work back into it. The faster I go with this, usually the better. A lot of my things here are so small, I cannot even tell what color they are. Guys, I'm so sorry about, I can just feel that table shaking. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Really like this orange. I want to bring this orange in here for sure. But I also feel like some green needs to happen. I don't know why. Maybe I'll bring some of this orange up into her hair. I don't know. I'm always just playing with hair color, blopping stuff in. Oh yeah, I like how that color goes up over that. So let's do this. Let's see what this. I hope this turns out good for you guys. I can't tell at this point. Ooh, I do like that purple too. Ooh, I like that, yep. Sometimes you just know like what you like. And then sometimes you know, do weird marks like that. Sometimes I cover things up if I'm like, ooh, is that being distracting? I may have got a little too crazy with her shirt. May need to tone it down. Ooh, that blue kind of looks cool too. Should I bring some of that? Oh, that could be interesting. I'm gonna take a break from this for a minute and step away and come back to it and see what I think. Guys, I'm quite happy with her. Let's take the tape off. See if that's less distracting. Yeah, I'm gonna leave her. See, working fast like this and just blopping a color in, whether it works or not, that's how you get like, you know, just different colors here and there. Yeah, so I'm quite happy. So I think this is a good example of how if you know the basic places of where things are, you're freer to just play and to work quickly.